Good morning, everyone. Nice to see so many attending. Welcome to the GET Baltic workshop. My name is Karolis Bagdonas. I'm a senior key account manager at GET Baltic. And today our workshop will be approximately up to 40 minutes. And I hope that it will be a good opportunity to deepen your knowledge. As I mentioned in the previous workshops, that we started this even last year in March to provide you with the updates on the Baltic-Finnish markets integration to EEX and guide you through this transition phase. So again, welcome to GET Baltic workshop number 3, clearing conditions. And after the presentation, we'll be having a Q&A session. So for the audience, please write your all possible questions in this Q&A section, and we'll be happy to answer for you. So let's start with the workshop. The first presentation will be presented by me, and then I will give a word to my colleague Simonas Blažaitis, trading operation manager. So let's start with my side, with the physical and financial settlements and invoicing. So first of all, European commodity clearing guarantees fulfillment of all contracts, and the clearinghouse assures the fulfillment of the contract concluded or registered on the exchange. So after a trade has been concluded, the clearinghouse steps in as a central counterparty between the buyer and the seller. And in this role, ECC takes over the counterparty risk for each participant and guarantees the delivery and payment of the contract. So what is a physical settlement? So first of all, ECC sends net nominations to the relevant transmission operator to initiate the physical delivery. And nomination process is quite simple. As you could see in this box, that the trade information is gathered from the order book, trading on exchange or trading registration deals. And then ECC aggregates nominations per market participants and delivery period for the respective transmission operator into one nomination schedule. Then TCO confirms the correct matching of nominates scheduled by both the market participant and ECC as a counterpart. If the mismatch occurs, then the transmission operator sends an alarm message. Looking to the overview of ECC financial settlement, as a central counterparty, ECC guarantees financial fulfillment and carries out all the cash clearing for all transactions concluded on ECC partner exchanges. As well, ECC, as you could notice, that it's cooperating with the international banks like clearing members, settlement banks, multi-currency payment banks, and correspondent banks. And all these transfers is done via T2 infrastructure of ECB. As well, ECC has approved the designated payment system according to the Directive 98/26/EC. In addition, ECC has a harmonized invoicing and fee settlement process across all of its products, markets, and asset classes. So, looking to the financial settlements, I would like for you to take a note with some major information that could be jumping into your mind. First of all, that ECC provides fee settlements for its partner exchange and also collects all the fees on behalf of the exchanges. As well, all the financial settlements take place on every ECC business day. Please take note that all these settlements on the business days from Monday to Friday, except the bank holidays. And these trades are netted out into one net payment amount per clearing member or settlement bank, respectively. Another important thing to notice it is that ECC established a daily booking cut at 4 p.m. Central European time. So in Baltic-Finnish region, it should be 5 p.m. So all trades concluded before the booking cut are financially settled on the next ECC business days. Trades that are concluded after 4 p.m. Central European time are settled on the ECC business day after tomorrow. And then payments in euros proceeded at around 8 in the morning, Central European time, before the market opening. And all trades concluded on the spot markets of our partner exchanges are imported into ECC clearing system SMSS. Also, for different types of departments on customer side, there should be needed some reports that are available at ECC side. So you could see different type of these reports. So delivery reports provide an overview of all physical settled trades. Then we have trade reports, an overview of all executed trades of a member. Then we have payment reports, overview of all trades to be financial settled. Then it is margin reports containing initial margin spot market, as well collateral report containing collateral transaction and balances of bank guarantees issued by non-clearing member as a collateral and collateral of direct clearing participants. As well, we have invoice reports containing all spot and derivative market transactions. One more thing to show you with the clearing process. So first of all, ECC only invoices fees for the provision of clearing and settlement services. As well, ECC creates monthly invoices on the latest until 5th business day of the following month. And ECC issued invoices for clearing fees and commodity amounts. The invoices are sent to the customer via email, and it's possible to get them via downloading the link or FTP access. Reports can be subscribed by ECC member area. And fees are debited on the 10th ECC business day of the following month. One more thing to note for you that the ECC issues two major groups of invoices of clearing fees, and it should be related to the delivery and the trading point. So what is related with the delivery? Which is containing all purchase and sold commodities of product with physical deliveries like spot transactions, intraday transactions, future expiries. So this will be provided by ECC Luxembourg. And this invoices is based on the delivery day of the concerned transactions. On the other side, we have invoices that are related with the trading, so they will be issued by ECC AG. So these invoices are related with the derivative market products or financial fulfilled contracts. So this invoice is divided into purchases and sales. So in general, this invoice is based on the timestamp of the concluded transactions. So one more point to note that ECC Luxembourg is a subsidiary of ECC AG, and ECC AG is a payment processor, and the ECC Luxembourg is a payment service provider. So it steps into the delivery process as an additional contractual partner in respect to settlement of deliveries of commodities from transaction in power, natural gas, and emission allowances, which are settled by ECC. So in general, here is a quite simple examples of those two different invoices. So you could see on the left side the invoice example from ECC Luxembourg, and on the right side it is the invoice example from ECC AG. And the final slide, it is related from my side, it is related on the frequency of invoices on different matters, how often they are provided to the customers, and on which month. So you could see that all the settlement related with the clearing of the products is the invoices are received every month, as well with the transactions that are related with the market making is always as well each month. Then we have annual fees, technical infrastructure fees, reporting fees for MiFID II, MiFIR, also remit reporting services. These invoices are provided for the customers on a quarterly basis, and then reporting service remit fee is provided for the customer once per year, as you could see in June. So that's shortly from my side about the clearing conditions, and then I would like to give the word to my colleague Simonas Blažaitis. Simonai, how do you see whether you would like to? Yeah, so you would like to share, or I can continue?
I will share myself.
Okay, no problem. Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you, audience. And then after, as I mentioned, after Simonas will finish the presentation, we can go to the Q&A. Thank you.
So thank you, Karolis, for the introduction. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So as Karolis mentioned, I am Simonas, mostly familiar with the majority of you, and today I will be briefly presenting NCM and DCP trading limits and collateral requirements, but mostly focusing on the DCP participants. And the presentation and the information will most likely be somewhat familiar to you, and it will hopefully act as a recap of important information. So to begin with the NCM participants, so those who are registering as NCMs already are aware that this type of admission requires an involvement of an intermediary, which is a clearing member, which then acts as your clearing member, as the name suggests, who settles all your financial operations. And your clearing member is liable towards ECC for obligations arising from your trading activities. Then to mitigate risks, your clearing member can set pre-trading limits on spot markets. And from your trade history, ECC calculates collateral requirement or margin requirements towards your clearing member, which your clearing member then passes on to you. If non-clearing member participants are interested in potential margin calculations, ECC provides a few Excel tools for such calculations as well. There is a company in EEX group called Lasima, which provides risk management services and can provide a more in-depth calculation of potential margins. So if any NCMs are interested in this after the webinar, you can reach out to us personally and we can direct you to the relevant people. Regarding the differences between the two market access, as you may be aware, one is only for spot market access, the DCP model, and the NCM gives access to both spot and derivatives. And in NCM, we have a trilateral agreement between the non-clearing member, their selected clearing member, and ECC. And on the other hand, at the DCP model, we have the bilateral agreement, direct relationship, as the name suggests, between the participant and ECC through the connected banks. So moving on to the DCP limit concept. So Karolis previously mentioned the booking cutoff and the trading day, which begins at 4 p.m. Central European time. So this is sort of a new time frame that our participants will need to get acquainted on. So basically, this time period is just the trading day, the settlement window, which we have at GET Baltic, is now 1 week. So from 1 week, it will now be shortened to basically 24 hours between 4 p.m. and 4 p.m. So basically, this is the time period that you need to keep in mind in terms of the settlement. So meaning that the transactions that are concluded between this time period are considered, let's say, a one trading day. Moving on, so not matched future orders, meaning orders for the following product dates will be deleted from the trading system if they don't match the current limit, meaning that after this mentioned booking cutoff, if your limit is not sufficient to, let's say, sustain the orders that you have already entered into the system, then these orders are automatically deleted. Regarding the collateral limit itself, so it's up to the DCP participant. No lower limit cap exists. However, there is an upper limit definition, which some of you have already received. However, the minimum, let's say the starting cap from participants that will be admitted is 3 million. So I hope that should be enough for all of our participants. Now, there is an additional thing that DCP participants need to keep in mind is a new thing which is called a base limit. So basically, this base limit serves as a limit which is available between 4 p.m. and usually around the next limit, which happens around 6 p.m. So basically, the base limit acts as your limit during this time period if you will need to conclude transactions specifically during this time period when your exposure from the previous day is being calculated. Regarding the base limit requirement, so the amount of reserved collateral is reserved. The amount reserved is basically the same to ensure the next base limit. So amount reserved is the one that is given to you on the specific day, and as well the amount to be given on the next day. Nevertheless, it is not required to have a base limit. So if you know that you will not need to conclude transactions between this time period, you can choose to not have a base limit. Regarding financial and delivery risk, so financial risk is calculated volumes times price, and netting between buy and sell is applied. So basically your sales offset your exposure and basically give back the trading limit that you have spent on the purchases. And delivery risk is calculated by a risk parameter which is found on ECC website, but delivery risk only applies to UK markets, so we can pay no attention to this at this moment. And there is no risk netting between delivery and financial risk. Again, delivery risk is not applied to our markets, so this point is not really relevant as well. Regarding non-business days, so there is no limit reset on non-business days, so that's something you have to keep in mind. The DCP participants during the weekend to basically ration your trading limit over the 3 days, because it will be only calculated and then offset again on Monday. Now we will have more, let's say, dynamic limit and more often calculations of the trading limit and your exposure, which is then going to be covered through your settlement account. And we have here mentioned the 09 form through which you can distribute and set your base limit for various markets. Later on in the presentation, we will take a look a bit closer how the form looks. And here what I mentioned as well regarding the functionality of the base limit. So basically, it's a limit that you use specifically between 4 p.m. again Central European time and around between 6 and 9 p.m. So basically, a limit that you exclusively use only for maximum 3 hours. So as I mentioned previously, if you know that during these hours you are not usually active and this base limit is not required for you, you can choose not to set it or set it very low in case you would have to conclude the transaction. Yeah, and what I mentioned before here in a little bit more detail regarding the dynamic trading limit and the recalculation, and when it is when exposure from your previous day is calculated, which I mentioned is between 6 and 7 p.m. So now let's take a closer look on how this base limit and calculated exposure look and affect your trading limit. So at 4 p.m. Central European time, the exposure from your previous day of trading is unknown. So your trading limit is automatically set at 0 or your defined base limit. So as I mentioned, the base limit can be defined as low as possible for your planned transactions, but as high as needed in case you would need to conclude a transaction during that time period. And it's important to note that it has an impact on the overall trading limit. So the higher your base limit is, the more the bigger part of your actual overall trading limit is reserved for this specified base limit. Then between 6 and 7 p.m., your exposure from the previous day is calculated and is known. So unused part of the trading limit is given back to you, and the part that is used up is reserved until the next settlement, the next payment, which should occur the next morning. So as I mentioned, so after the exposure is calculated between 6 and 7, so the red part is exposure, the amount of your trading limit that you have spent. The blue trading limit is given back to you, the unspent amount that is available for you to use for the remainder of the trading day. And the blocked base limit is the blocked part for the upcoming day period between 4 and 6 or 7 p.m. again. So after the next morning, after a successful settlement as well, the exposure part is reduced and the whole trading limit is again available to you apart from the blocked base limit amount, which will be given to you, no questions asked, again at 4 p.m. after the trading cutoff. So the base limit can be set up and changed in accordance with your trading strategy. So it can be as high or as low as you prefer. Just the most important thing to keep in mind that the bigger the base limit you set for yourself, the bigger part of your actual trading limit will be reserved for the base limit that you will have between 4 and 6 p.m. So again, it's important to evaluate your trading activities during those hours. If you know that you are not really that active, you can choose to have a smaller base limit and have a bigger available trading limit from your provided collateral throughout the whole day. And as well, the available collateral can be split over market areas, meaning that after the exposure calculation, which happens between 6 and 7 p.m., so when your available trading limit is calculated, you can then have it split up between several market areas that you are active in. So basically, the important thing to note here is that not the entire trading limit is split between the market areas, but available, which is calculated after your exposure. So after or between 6 and 7, when your exposure is calculated and then the part of available limit is known, it can then be split up between a few market areas that you are active on. And the split can be done as well through one of the forms, which we will soon see as well. Yeah, so what I mentioned regarding the base limit and the base limit requirements and the amount that is reserved. So basically, the amounts here that are set are just exemplary, but basically the thing to keep in mind regarding the base limit requirements that the amount of the base limit that you set, so the amount itself, and then let's say a guarantee of that amount is reserved from your trading limit as well. So if you set that you will want to have a base limit of 5,000 between 4 and 6 p.m., so then 10,000 is reserved from your whole trading limit. So as I mentioned, the higher your base limit you set up, the bigger the amount of your whole trading limit will be reserved for that specific time period. So as I mentioned, it's important to evaluate your activity and to set the base limit as low as you can, but basically as high as you might need during those specific hours. Also, it's important to note that the base limit is not not exclusively available on these hours between 4 and 6 p.m. But it's the only limit that is available to you during those hours. After those hours, when your exposure is calculated, the base limit is then added to your available trading limit that you did not spend. So basically, again, the function of the base limit is to give you a certain amount to trade during those hours, 2 or 3 hours, when your exposure from the previous day is being calculated. Now, regarding the forms that I have previously mentioned, so the 09 form, so basically this form is used for setting up the base limits and the collateral distribution preferences. So here we have the basic details, and here in the lower part of the form, we have the limit distribution. So here you would enter specific market areas, currency, and then the base limit for business day, so from Monday to Friday, and then the base limit for non-business days. And in the final column, you have what I mentioned before, the collateral distribution. So if you want to distribute the available collateral specifically between the available market areas, you can do it here, or you can choose not to do it and just have it basically regularly, let's say. And there's one more form that I would like to show to you as well, is the 010 form. So currently at Get Baltic, for increase of your trading limit, we for most participants, we issue prepayment invoices that you then pay, and then we accordingly increase your trading limit. With ECC, you will have the form for cash collateral deposit and release. So you fill out the form and the details, the amount and words, etc., and provide it to ECC via direct clearing email. So basically, the important thing here to stress is that you need to plan deposits and release a bit more in advance than you do now at Get Baltic, because let's say the volume and the amount of the participants at ECC and EEX is much higher, so they have let's say a window of 2 business days before they can guarantee that your trading limit will be increased or reduced. So just something to keep in mind, especially before weekends or holidays, just to give yourself time and reduce unnecessary stress to plan the deposits or release a few days in advance. As well, here I have included a few useful links that you can check afterwards. So there are some detailed presentations on collateral and limits, how they are calculated and applied, and as well ECC has a DCP limit calculation tool with a video instruction as well that you can use to calculate calculate limits and see how limit can fluctuate between the trading day. Just one thing to note, that still currently in this limit tool, our market areas are not yet included. However, they should be included hopefully this or next week. So save this link, and once the market areas are included, please check it. You will find a very detailed video instruction on how to use it, so you can definitely check it later. And that will be it from me. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Simonas. It was quite a good explanation on these limits and more detailed information provided. So thank you one more time. And also maybe let's check with we still have some time. So I would like to check if any questions are left on the Q&A. So the audience, please provide it if you got questions, and we'll be happy to answer. So let me see. Currently no question, but let's wait for a little bit. Please share the presentation. Yes, of course. So for right now, just to mention for you that the previous recordings that were done in the last 2 weeks, they are right now in production, and so we hope that when it will be produced, we'll be happy to share that it will be placed in our website. So right now, please have a patience as well. This recording will be provided as well. So one more thing, as I mentioned, we're also having in our backside exports from ECC. So if you still have questions on these matters that were provided by me and Simonas, so do not hesitate to ask. Let me check. I think I see one more question. Oh yeah, so that was a personal question from one customer. So yes, thank you, Tracy. For
I saw your email. I will contact.
We will respond to it. Thank you. Let's wait for some questions arise. As I mentioned, don't be so shy. Here is a nice workshop that you can place your questions and to get the relevant answers. While you are writing those questions, please have in mind that next week we'll be having a webinar as well. But different time, as it was today at 10 o'clock Baltic-Finnish time, 9 Central European time. So the next webinar is planned next week, and it will be at 11 our time and at 10 Central European time. Okay, I see that more or less the presentation was quite clear. As I mentioned previously, that it will be the recording will be produced, and then laterly we could share with you. Let me check if we have one more question. Is there any chance that the system will be simplified sometime in the future? It's clearly too complicated for easy management, if I correctly understand this. You mean all the clearing system? Well, right now it is as what we have. Of course, there are future developments, and but at this moment we have to face what we are currently having.
I think to add that in the beginning, all changes seem complicated, especially when coming from a system that is quite straightforward. So I hope and I think that with time, all of you, including us as well, will get more familiar with the system and get the hang of it. So I hope it's just a matter of time as well.
Okay, let me check again if any more questions. Nevertheless, if no questions arise or laterly, if it happens, as I mentioned, the webinars are organized for you to answer your questions. But if, as always, in case some questions arise later, so as well, we will be happy to answer you. Yeah. In general, I see that the time is over, and I think that you also would like to jump to other meetings as well. So I could want to summarize that our workshop is over. Don't forget to join to the next week webinar, and I think that all this matter that was presented by me and Simonas was very valuable and informative for all of you. So thank you, Simonas, for the presentation. Thank you, audience, for your participation and all the arised questions. It was really a pleasure to stay with you. So have a wonderful day and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.